Well, those were the headlines from the startup world today, but on to our big story. The Reserve Bank of India has granted the payment aggregator license to a handful of companies, including Razorpay. Now, this license essentially allows companies to provide payment services for merchants by accepting payment instruments from customers on their behalf and act as an intermediary of sorts. Now, Razorpay was among one of the first few players to receive an in-principle note from RBI in July last year, but come December 2022, the regulator had requested Razorpay to pause onboarding new customers until it got the final nod, which it has now finally received. So a huge relief coming in for the company, and joining me now to discuss its implications is Razorpay's co-founder and CEO Harshal Mathur. Harshal, pleasure again having you on the show here on Startup Street. You know, from July last year when you got that in-principle nod for the license to December when RBI asked you to stop onboarding new customers, and fast forward to today when you finally have that go-ahead. It's been a financial and emotional roller coaster, I'm sure, for you. How relieved are you now, and how does life change?
Yeah, no, of course, it is a welcome move from RBI, and we have been looking forward to it for a while. The morale in the team is back and energized, and we have been awaiting this for some time. But there are certain regulatory processes that RBI has to follow before they give it. So we're glad we are here, and now we are fully licensed and authorized. So that allows us to offer our services even and allow the merchants to trust us even more than they used to before.
But you know, Harshal, from last year to now, what is your estimate of how much business you may have lost out to thanks to this one-year delay in getting the license, and what was the impact on the P&L?
So the P&L impact of new merchants is generally limited because most of the new merchants coming in on board are small merchants, which takes some time to build up GMV or revenue. So that impact is actually quite limited. There is impact, but that we were able to manage by offering other services around, for example, our offline POS terminals, and on Razorpay X side, we still have a lot of other offerings that we were able to offer and manage some of that. But the biggest impact is, I'll say, is on the morale internally, because payments is our oldest and the place where we started. Online payments is where we started, and there are a large number of internet SMEs that we power and enable on a daily basis. So not being able to onboard them, the amount of complaints and pings and questions that we were getting from all of these small merchants who couldn't go live because we were not able to onboard them was very high, and it was our top priority to get them live and going as soon as we got this approval from RBI, and it will continue to be core focus area for us in the next couple of days.
That's right. I mean, you know, payments is your core business, but, you know, obviously there's some lost ground to cover in onboarding these new merchants onto the platform now that you have the license. Can you quickly give us a sense of your plan, how you're going to go about this? Is everything in place? And how many new merchants do you estimate you lost out on that you will now be able to add to your 10 million strong base?
Yeah, so on the overall basis, right, as soon as we got this news, the entire company has got into a war room mode to ensure that the merchants who have been waiting and wanting to go live with us don't have to wait any additional day now that the license is in place. So we've been reaching out to these merchants, getting all the formalities and compliances and KYC in place so that we can start taking them live as soon as possible. First set of merchants actually has already gone live, and the team is operating with the entire org is just putting together and making sure that we don't have to lose even one more day, because the holiday season is coming up. A lot of merchants will be busy. So we want to ensure that all of them can go live in the next 5-10 days and wait through the holiday season smoothly. In terms of numbers, there's a large number of merchants waiting. It's somewhere between 10 to 50,000 merchants have been in our funnel for last 1 year. But it's hard to estimate how many of them will actually go live. We hope all of them do, but I'm sure a lot of those merchants might have found alternates, might have moved to some alternate system. So they'll take some time to come back, but we are making all our efforts to ensure that most of them can come back to our platform and we can continue to serve them.
Well, yes, Harshal, I suppose some of them would have gone to your competitors who did have the license. But, you know, now that you have this in place, to what extent is your revenue going to be boosted thanks to this? And, you know, how does it change your overall revenue projections, say, for FY24?
Yes, as I said, the short-term impact of new merchants on revenue is quite limited, but long-term, yes, definitely. And I think we will be able to do a lot more stronger financial projections. I think this FY, the impact will be limited because 1 quarter is too low for any new merchant that goes live. Takes about 6 to 8 months to really start moving significant portion of volumes to us. So, but our next FI plans are definitely going to be a lot more aggressive. Over the years, Razorpay has consistently grown 50% plus, 50 to 60% year over year. We're quite confident now that this is back, we'll be able to maintain that pace of growth the way we have maintained in the last couple of years. But one interesting advantage that we are feeling happy about is we are one of the first players to get this final license from RBI, which gives up, which will allow merchants to get some sort of trust and proof of compliance and safety with Razorpay, which will go a long way in allowing us to onboard and serving them better.
Well, RBI updates fortnightly its list of certified payment aggregators, so we'll see who else got lucky along with you. But, Harshal, before we let you go, I think the last time we spoke, you indicated that Razorpay's businesses were nearing break-even, and you wanted that break-even target before you actually go public. Is this entire thing going to expedite that process? Any timelines you can share on how much sooner you expect to hit profitability?
Yeah, so it definitely gives us a lot more confidence on those plans. Without new merchant onboarding, of course, we have to make as additional revenues from existing base as well, which is not very easy. In terms of overall basis, as a org, we are aiming to be profitable on the entire org. Our payment business is almost breaking even, but on the entire org, we are targeting somewhere during the next FY. From an IPO perspective, we are still about 2 to 3 years away from an IPO, but we are preparing our plans for it.
All right, Harshal, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much for your time here on CNBC-TV18.
Thank you for hosting me.
Moving on, agility.